everyone, welcome to a new video. As you can see, I am kitten sitting today. Oh my god, she's such a pain. She's so difficult. She does this thing all morning where she'll nearly go to sleep, but if you try and leave the room, you can come back 2 seconds later, yet she's knocked over a full glass of water on my windowsill with my delicate fairies. So let's try not to get too distracted with her cuteness. Look at that, you'd think butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. If you're new here, by the way, this is Aurora. She's my daughter's kitten, and I'm sort of looking after her sort of every other day that she's at work so that she doesn't get too lonely and bored. She does like a lot of entertainment. Anyway, so yes, as the title says, I want to write you a letter. One of the things on my sort of career goals list for this year is to get back into newsletters. I've really let it slide. I used to do them every now and then, but it's sort of fallen off the wagon, and I think partly because I just haven't known what to say, partly because you know everything that's going on behind the scenes and in my life because it's on YouTube. So I've been struggling to sort of think of value as well as something interesting to write about. But I've had a few ideas this year. I've been doing some brainstorming, and one of the things I thought I would do is just extra YouTube videos that don't really fit on my channel, because sometimes I do find myself going off on a great big waffle and going on a meandering story that I didn't intend to do. And I do try and keep these videos quite sort of snappy and lively, and then I come to edit and I think, oh my goodness, Helen, you've been going on for about half an hour about the same thing. Unless you're interested in that thing, you'll be bored out your brain. But if you are interested in that thing, then you might like to watch it. So I thought that's the ideal thing. If I ever have those moments where I've just gone off on one, then I might just leave it unedited and put it as an exclusive private link in a newsletter. So that's one of the things I thought I would do. I've got other thoughts and ideas for the future. If you were in my Patreon year before last, then, or was it last year? I've lost track. Or remember, I talked about it here as well. I sort of started a hashtag called Our Creative Year, and I had like ideas for creative projects you could do with a theme each month. And I sort of abandoned it. No one was really doing it. I don't have a big enough audience really to get something like that going. But again, I thought it might be something nice that I could put into newsletters. I've got other ideas as well, but I'm not going to sort of throw them all at you all at once. Let's just see how it goes. So last week I sent out a newsletter to everybody that's already on my newsletter list. So if you didn't see that, if you know you've subscribed, then do go back and have a look. But it doesn't matter. It was really just to let you know about the changes. One of the changes being that I'm moving my mailing list to Substack. Yeah, I was using MailerLite for the Threads of a Fairytale list. I can't remember what platform I was using from my blog, but that's the two places I've been building up a bit of a subscriber list, and I'm going to be combining the two. I'm just going to write one newsletter. I'm not going to try and do different ones. So that's the main change really to it. So if you found me through my old blog, which was called When I Grow Up, you might have been interested in different things to if you subscribed through Threads of a Fairytale, my clothing business. So there might be things I write about that you're not necessarily interested. For example, if you've signed up because you're interested in my future sewing courses, then there might be things that sort of relate to YouTube, or I don't know yet. There might be things that you're not that worried about, but hopefully if there's not something in one newsletter, there will be something for you in the next one. Oh, okay. Okay. If you would like to subscribe for my newsletters, there'll be a link right below in the description. Please follow that and sign up. And the first, where is it? Is it within reach? So the first video I thought I would do is a full flip through of my creative journal, just giving little behind the scenes chats about the things that are in here. It'll be more personal. YouTube is a very public space, which is fine. You're a lovely audience. I never get, or hardly ever get, any negative or horrible comments. but it still feels quite public. You never know who's watching. Whereas I do feel like with a mailing list, I know I can be a bit more personal. You know, I'm a bit of an oversharer anyway, so hopefully we'll feel like there's a bit more of a connection. You can always reply back as well. Those will come straight to me, and yeah. So yeah, the first video, I'm about 2 pages away from finishing this, so hopefully I'll get that done today or tomorrow, and then I can chat to you about everything that's in here. So that's an example of one of the things I could be sharing, or it might be time lapses of my art or my sewing, or it might be slowed down versions of, for example, the next bit of this video is going to be swatching some watercolours. If you're interested in seeing that in real time, I know some people find that really relaxing to watch the brush strokes. Again, that's the sort of thing I could put in a video. They will be quite unedited, raw videos that I haven't got the time to be making high quality videos. They're not going to be well edited with lots of little angles and stuff. They're just going to be thrown all together, and yeah, that's life sort of thing. I will also be giving a exclusive discount code for my Threads of a Fairytale shop. So if you're interested, if you've had your eye on anything in there, then now would be a good time to sign up for that as well. Oh, she's back. She's jumped back up. Hello, beautiful. And yeah, that's that little bit of news. So in front of me is the so in front of me is the painting I've been working on, which is almost finished, I think. I'm really pleased with the figure and the peacock. Is that in shot? There we are. No, it is. I think I've still got a little bit of work to do. I want a bit more contrast. You probably can't even see from this distance, but she's got a peacock feather over her shoulder, and that needs to stand out a bit more. Yes, there's still a few little bits and bobs to do, but I'm quite pleased with how that's going. So I'll probably try and finish that today or tomorrow. Also from that distance, sorry, this is quite difficult doing this one-handed with the kitten, but also probably can't see, but over in this corner I sort of took a little bit of a risk actually, because I wasn't sure how it was going to work on the canvas board. I've done it on paper before in the mixed media section of the art course that I was doing, and I decided to include like a little poem, a sort of bit of prosy poetry, poetic prose I suppose. And I really like that idea of doing that actually with my paintings. I do enjoy creative writing, and I just wanted to incorporate that into the art. I thought it was quite nice to have like a hint of something that you only notice close up. Also, it acts as a nice sort of description of the piece as well. So I'm going to experiment with that. I think it worked out fairly well. I will try different pens to find out what will work best on the canvas. In other arty news, last week I did manage to find time to do the swatching that I said I was going to do at Christmas of all my Winsor & Newton professional watercolours. I did really enjoy it. It's a really nice meditative process. I thought I would share it. It might be useful if you're on the lookout for a new colour. Yeah, it was fun to do. I laid everything out in rainbow order. She's biting my finger now. Ow! I love putting things out in rainbow order. No! Right, she's going down. Sorry, cuteness has to go. So I put pink first. Where do you put your pink if you're doing things in rainbow order? So I'm doing pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple, and then I do brown, black, grey, white, and that's how I always lay out my colours. And I also split them so that the paints that were further away were the ones that I thought would be cool toned, and the ones nearest to me were warm toned. I'm gonna definitely talk about this a little bit more in a future video, because I'm so interested in colour properties and things like that, and the origins of the colour, and I think I'm gonna geek out on that. I really do. Yes, it was nice to see the new colours that I was given for Christmas, and I put them together with the bundle that I bought from eBay a little while ago. So it's the next day. It's a grey, gloomy day, but still I thought it would be interesting to see the colours in daylight. Yeah, that was a nice fun exercise and very, very useful because you certainly don't get a very accurate look from the colours on the outside of the packaging. So I did do a little test to compare what the colour looks like on watercolour paper, and actually last night in the lamplight it didn't look any different, but in daylight this is looking a little, I would say, duller. It might be simply the colour of the paper. There's a little bit of an off-whiteness, isn't it, when you compare it to the bright white of the cheapy paper. So I put what I thought was the cooler colours on one side and the warmer colours on the other. Some of them I got a bit wrong. Once they were on the page I could tell that actually I think that belongs in that group and that belongs in that group. I'm particularly interested in the blues and the temperature of the blues, but I'm going to talk about that another day because it's a bit of an interesting one. So as well as doing the ordinary sort of swatches of paint, and by the way, I'm not an expert swatcher. I know there are channels that really know what they're doing. This was just to see what the colours were. I wasn't really testing out too much else at this point. But I am going to be doing these extra little landscapes. So in these I'm going to be exploring the colours a little bit more in depth. I'm going to choose 2 colours plus black plus white and just see what mixes I can get in a small little sort of abstract landscape, or abstract, we'll see what happens. But I thought that would be really nice as a future reference and as a nice warm-up exercise to do before I sit down to paint. So I've got a 14 milliliter one of titanium white. Now I also, for a dark tint, I went with neutral tint, thinking it was neutral, but actually there's quite a purplish tint to the neutral tint. I was quite disappointed about it. Definitely looks less so in daylight, but it isn't neutral. Well, they shouldn't call it neutral tint, they should call it purplish tint. I think actually lamp black is the most neutral black. So annoyingly I've got this large neutral tint, and instead I'm going to be using, I'll have to probably repurchase, I'm going to use the lamp black. I think that's the most neutral out of all of these. This one's a little bit brown, purple. The lamp black might be slightly cooler, but I think that's the nearest. I haven't got a ivory black, but the website says that's quite a brownish black, so that's okay. I'm going to rule it out anyway. Yeah, so that's an exciting little project for 2024, and I'm also going to use that as a little warm-up exercise. If I'm wanting to get painting, but I find that I'm procrastinating, I'm putting it off for some stupid reason, if I just sit down and create an abstract with a couple of colours, I think that will just get me started like a warm-up and will hopefully become quite a useful reference as well. And also it's interesting, I was suspicious that they were. I think the Winsor red, the Winsor yellow, these are names just done by Winsor & Newton, by the way. These aren't standard names. Those two I think are neutrals. I don't think that's a cool or warm red. I don't think that's a cool or warm yellow. They don't have a Winsor blue though, that's just Winsor blue. It's Winsor blue green shade, and I think that is slightly green, so I don't think that's a neutral. I think the best neutral is the cobalt blue, which sometimes is a little bit reddish on other brands, but I didn't think it was on Winsor & Newton. So that might be useful information. If you want just 3 colours to mix up, I would go with the cobalt blue, Winsor yellow and Winsor red for your primaries. Just a little note to add, I know that people who do the swatches quite often on YouTube, they have a black line to test how opaque it is. Well, I didn't do that for a couple of reasons. One, I couldn't be bothered. And 2, a lot of these paints are really old. I had to open them with a pair of pliers. They've sat there for a while and they need mixing up properly. So I knew I wasn't going to get a fair test of the transparency because they need squirting out to a palette, properly mixing up. So instead I've just written what's on the tube, whether they're opaque, transparent or semi-transparent, and that's enough for now. I'm sure in the future I will want to do a more professional job of it. So the first one, we've got French ultramarine and alizarin crimson, and so it was all a bit hodgepodge. podge. It's all a bit haphazard on the first page I tried. So this one we've got French Ultramarine and Winsor Lemon. And then on this one we've got French Ultramarine and Cadmium Free Yellow. Both with white, both with black, mixed together with white, mixed together with black. A very muddy green, but probably a much more natural one. Here we have, because I had loads of the yellow left, I did cerulean blue this time with cad free yellow. With white, for some reason I forgot to do the yellow with white, but I've got others for the reference for that, so that's fine. That's with black, and that's also with black, but with different amounts. So quite a bit, just a little, quite a bit, just a little. Mix of the both, mix the both with white, mix the both with black. So there we are, that's that one. Then I also did cadmium free red with cadmium free yellow. That's that one. That's all I've done so far. And then, because you know me, I hate waste, when I end up with too much paint in my palette, I've got beside me this Flower Fairies watercolour card pad. I might have shown you this before, I can't remember, I did the same once before when I had paint left over. Yeah, this wasn't this lot, this was with my Radiance, my PH Martin Radiance. But yeah, I've been like going through and using up quite a lot of the paint in here. That's been ideal really. I mean, you can sort of tell what are the Radiance and what are the Winsor & Newton watercolours. They're quite sort of different in tone. I thought that was looking pretty. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with the leftover paints. Just going through and adding it onto these pictures nice and easy without needing to think at all. And hopefully by the end of this exercise I will have finished some pretty cards to send out to people. So yeah, I'm excited to carry on with that actually. That was really good fun. In other random news, we had a little bit of a disaster yesterday. Good morning. There are sometimes times when I question the wisdom of wanting to live in an old house. So all morning I've been, look, you can see the reflection of a scented candle going. Because all morning I keep thinking, what is that smell in here? I'm in the hallway, you don't normally see this. This is the door to my studio here. Yeah, I've shown you some of the books. This is sort of our bookshelf area. Yeah, all morning I've been thinking, it smells like cigarette smoke. It smells like someone's had a cigarette in this hall and then tried to disguise it with deodorant. Now Chris put his deodorant on in here this morning. So I've been like questioning, what is it? What is that smell? What is that smell? And then I go in the bathroom and notice the ceiling has just fallen down at some point in the night. I would have noticed this bit. This just happened when I tried opening the door, but everything is sort of dislodged in there, so I don't think I can do this one-handed. Yeah, so this is our downstairs loo, and yeah, more bookshelves. This used to be a full-on bathroom, but we took some stuff out, so it's just really a downstairs loo and storage. All the packing supplies, that's why there's all this bubble wrap is here. I think it's just this patch here. I wonder what made that happen. So I don't know why it smells so smoky. The previous owners here were smokers, so maybe it's just that. So that's another thing we've got to deal with. Oh my goodness, no wonder I couldn't open the door. Look at that. I don't know how I'm going to get in to sort this out. The worrying thing is there's a load of water came down with it, and our bathroom, our 4-year-old bathroom, is no longer under guarantee, and I'm guessing that's why. A plumber has literally just been, because this morning we sort of had a little test. We were hoping it was just the grout or the sealant at the side of the shower upstairs that had worn away, come apart. I don't know. It's not. It's to do with some plumbing underneath the drain of the shower. So he came, had a look, bashed some more holes in the ceiling of the hall, and couldn't get to it. So he's coming back another time when he's got more time. Oh, there's always something. In fairness, it's not really an issue to do with having an old house. It is more about the fact that obviously the plumber who came 4 years ago to install the bathroom perhaps didn't quite do it properly. So that is disappointing. So that's it for today. A little catch up there. And I would love it if you would like to join my newsletters and keep in touch that way as well. Yeah, don't forget to sign up. Follow the link below. Ow! Ow! Get down. And I'll be sending that out next Wednesday, so don't forget to check your inboxes. And because it's from a different mailing list, it's going to be from Substack, not from MailerLite. Please make sure you check, because it might get taken to your spam, or if you've got a promotions folder, it might go there instead. So please do look out for that. Hit reply, and it'd be nice to have a chat via email. So yeah, the new emails will be coming from a place called Substack. You may have heard about it, a lot of people haven't yet, but I think it's getting bigger and bigger all the time. And it's a place that's a kind of a collection of blogs as well as emails. It's an odd thing. When I was blogging, it was always a situation where how do people remember where to find me? Well, Substack emails everybody every time you post a new post, so you can use it as a newsletter or as a blogging platform that will email you the blogs. Also on Substack there is a feature where you can charge people, so a lot of people are sending out letters or longer essays with a small fee. I'm not going to be doing that. I have no intention of doing that at this point, certainly not just for the newsletters and these extra little bits. I'm not going to rule out anything in the future, but I have no plans for that at the moment. So if you've heard of Substack being a place where people are charging you for the content, then don't let that put you off. I'm not going to be doing that. Everything that comes from my Substack in the foreseeable future will be completely free. And I think that's it from me. Take care everybody, and I will see you again soon. Bye.